All right, today we're jumping into the Jammu and Kashmir budget for 2026-27. Now, I want you to think of this not just as a spreadsheet full of numbers, but more like a fiscal compass. It's a detailed plan, really, designed to navigate some pretty serious challenges and chart a course toward growth. So let's see which way that compass is pointing. The chief minister opened his budget speech with this really powerful line of poetry. It just perfectly captures the whole spirit of this plan. It acknowledges, hey, the road has been tough and the burden is heavy, but it also shows this firm resolve to just keep moving forward. And that's really what this budget is all about. It's the game plan for that ongoing journey. And let's be clear, those challenges have been huge. The past year alone saw just barbaric terrorist attacks and devastating floods that really battered the Jammu region. When you combine those calamities with the financial pressures that were already there, you've got a uniquely difficult environment. So this budget, it's not happening in some theoretical vacuum. It's a direct response to a period of really intense adversity. So how exactly does the government plan to stabilize the ship? Well, the first big part of this budget focuses on tackling those foundational financial challenges head-on. Okay, this chart right here, it tells you almost everything you need to know about the region's core financial stress. Get this, a massive 60% of the entire budget is already spoken for before a single new road can be paved or a new school can be built. This is what's called committed expenditure. It's the money that absolutely has to go to salaries, pensions, and paying off old debt. That leaves just 40 cents on the dollar for everything else. That puts an immense amount of pressure on any new development. So here's the game plan, laid out side by side. On the one hand, you've got the challenges we've been talking about. They can't raise enough of their own revenue, they have that incredibly high committed spending, and there are major inefficiencies, especially in the power sector. And on the other hand, you see the solutions they're putting forward. Things like stronger GST collection, transparent auctions, getting central support through a really important scheme, and some deep reforms in the power sector. Let's zoom in on that one part of the solution for a second, the SASE scheme. This thing is a real game changer. Basically, it provides 50-year, interest-free loans for huge infrastructure projects. Think about that. For a region facing so much fiscal stress, getting access to that kind of money without the crushing burden of interest payments, it's an absolute lifeline for building the roads and power plants of the future. So once you start getting the finances in order, what's next? Well, that flows directly into the second major theme of the budget, which is really the heart of the whole plan: investing in people. This is all about using that more stable foundation to build up human capital, create jobs, and empower communities. Now, look at this number, 200,952. That's not just a statistic. It represents a really profound success story. We're talking about over 200,000 women in rural areas who, through self-help groups, are now earning over 1 lakh rupees a year. They're called Lakpati Didis. This is a fundamental shift in economic power and stability for thousands and thousands of families. To rebuild trust, especially among the youth, the government is really focusing on transparency and public sector jobs. In the last year, over 7,600 appointments were made based purely on merit, using a new tech-driven process. And the plan is to fast-track almost 24,000 more, sending a really clear message that if you're qualified, you have a fair shot. And hey, it's not just about government jobs. The startup ecosystem has just exploded. It's grown from only 69 startups back in 2020 to over 1,300 today. And what's really incredible is that nearly 500 of these brand new companies are led by women. That's a huge surge in local innovation. So what's driving all this? A big part of it is a program called Mission Yuva, which is all about helping young people start their own businesses. And the strategy is built on this simple but really effective idea, the 4 C's. First, you create a culture of entrepreneurship. Then you build the capacity and skills people need. Then you provide access to capital, the money. And finally, you ensure connectivity to market so they can sell their products. The budget also puts a huge emphasis on strengthening the social safety net for the most vulnerable people. This means things like increasing pensions for over 1 million beneficiaries, boosting marriage assistance for girls from the poorest families, providing free cooking gas cylinders, and even completely waiving all school and college fees for students from those households. Okay, so we've covered the money and the people. Let's turn to the third pillar: building the actual physical infrastructure that will connect Jammu and Kashmir and its people to a new kind of future. And we're not talking about small upgrades here. These are massive, nation-building scale projects. You've got the Udhampur-Srinagar-Baramulla rail link, which for the very first time is giving the valley all-weather train connectivity to the rest of India. Then you add in the strategic Zojila tunnel, a new expressway, and huge ring roads for both major cities. It's a complete transformation of how people and goods move.
Of course, you can't have a connected future without power. This timeline shows just how serious they are about becoming self-sufficient in energy. Two major hydropower projects, Pakal Dol and Kiru, are set to come online this year alone. Together, they're adding over 1,600 megawatts to the grid. That is a massive leap in capacity. And you can see they're already looking ahead to reviving the even bigger Sawalkot project.
And the big goal behind all of this investment? It's simple, but it's incredibly ambitious. Provide 24/7 uninterrupted power to every single consumer in Jammu and Kashmir within the next few years. Just think about how that would fundamentally change daily life and the economy. So you put all these pieces together, the fiscal stability, the investment in people, the new infrastructure. What's the long-term vision? Where is this fiscal compass ultimately pointing? Well, these projections here, they paint a picture of steady and really significant economic growth. This chart shows the GSDP, the gross state domestic product. Basically, think of it as the total value of everything produced in the region in a year. It's kind of like the economy's report card. And as you can see, the trend is consistently upward. That growth, that's the ultimate destination here. A larger, more robust economy with more opportunities for everybody. So in the end, this budget lays out a really clear and ambitious roadmap. It absolutely acknowledges the heavy burdens of the past, but it's strategically investing in the future. The final question, then, is the one this entire plan is built to answer. With this compass in hand, can Jammu and Kashmir successfully navigate its many challenges to finally reach that destination of lasting peace and prosperity? The journey, as they say, continues.